The sidewalks in almost every city have a long ways to go.
It really makes you rethink life, just altogether.
Everything can change with a blink of an eye. And then you're like, what do we do now?
The brain actually forms differently if you haven't had a language by 13. So there's actually a disability forming that we could prevent.
How I made it through high school and college, whew, I really have no idea.
That is harming so many more people than anybody even realizes.
I'm Teresa Weekly. Welcome to Disability Pride. We're looking to answer the question, how accessible is West Michigan? Accessibility isn't only physical. It's about communication, comfort, and connection. Challenges to any of those three things can happen to anyone at any time.
This is actually a comic book.
Wayne Heiser loves the Marvel Universe. He sees himself in the characters, in their hidden strength and power.
Yeah, my body was like revamping itself, regenerating, sort of like Wolverine. But I never thought in my wildest years would I be in a chair. Who thinks about that?
Wayne is in great shape now. 8 years ago, he was at the peak of physical fitness.
I was a bodybuilder 20+ years. I quadded, I fished, I kayaked, I shot guns. October 4th, 2017, I was doing a bunch of errands, and I got T-boned. Some 16-year-old went through a stop sign, and he broke, C4 exploded in my neck.
In the 5 years that followed, Wayne barely got up.
Well, I was laying in bed. I was feeling sorry for myself. I was mad at the world. You go from being able to do everything to being in a chair.
He was also on a lot of prescription medications, which he says he stopped taking.
So a C4 injury controls your hands, your diaphragm, coughing, sneezing, burping, breathing. I can do all that now. But when I was medicated, I couldn't do any of that.
Wayne was grandfathered into Michigan's old no-fault insurance rules, so he has medical coverage for life from his accident. That's what paid for his motorized chair and a home where he can easily get around.
Kalamazoo is not accessible at all. Like, everywhere you go, you have to, there could be stairs.
Wayne is working on upgrading his Hummer to hand controls so he can drive something cooler than a van, in his words. Most of his energy, though, is focused on harnessing a different kind of power. What's your goal?
My goal is to walk. It's gonna happen.
Can you spot the mobility-friendly designs in this showroom? The idea is they're subtle, like cupboards with shelves that drop down, or space under the sink, a dishwasher drawer. This is the Home Accessibility Center for Disability Advocates of Kent County, and it features universal design.
It's definitely becoming more and more popular in residential construction.
This home in Allendale will have 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 0 steps.
I like it a lot. It's a great concept. Here we got the garage port at the same height as the floor in the house so that you can just kind of walk in instead of taking your 2 steps up.
Ryan Koop has been a builder for about 10 years. This is his 3rd 0-step home. The first one he built is where he now lives. Ryan has discovered the benefits of universal design firsthand.
I threw my back out pretty good for a while, doing heavy lifting at work, so that helped a lot.
Did it give you a new appreciation for the 0-step?
Yeah, for sure. I don't have to step up steps, you know, and yeah, it makes it way easier to get around your house.
This current build is a spec home. Ryan expects he'll have no trouble selling.
The porch will all flow into the garage. Everything will just be, like you could just, if you need to like access it with a wheelchair, you could just roll all through it.
The state doesn't have exact data for how much more common 0-step homes have become, but Dave Bulkowski with Disability Advocates of Kent County says more builders are intent on incorporating universal design.
Primarily because people are aging, you know, and folks have more awareness of that need.
His estimates show how cost-effective it is to include these designs up front. Heartland Builders puts the 0-step threshold at around $2,000. It's less than $3,000 to include that and other accessibility features.
Through the National Association of Home Builders, we're a member through the HBA of Grand Rapids, or the Home Builders Association of Grand Rapids. Huge commitment to that. more and more builders are understanding it.
The sidewalks in almost every city have a long ways to go. They're like beat up, and I've gotten knocked out of my chair a bunch, Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids.
That was Renita McGuire, Ms. Wheelchair Michigan. You'll hear more from her later. She brought up the issue of sidewalks, like this one in Grand Rapids. Imagine trying to get a wheelchair over big gaps like this. But who is responsible to fix it? In Grand Rapids, the city started the Vital Streets income tax 11 years ago. It sets aside up to 16% of property tax to put towards sidewalk repairs. Now, the city has logged 175 work orders, and there are 885 miles of sidewalk in the city. A representative said they have fixed about half of that network so far, and as they get through more orders, they expect the number of complaints will drop off.
What happened today?
Access isn't always physical. We're looking at how a lack of options for learning in a child's earliest years creates barriers that last a lifetime. That's coming up next on Disability Pride. It's difficult to make sure everyone has access without communication. For one group of people in Michigan, a lack of education options has led to what advocates say is an epidemic.
Have you always been deaf?
Yes, I was born deaf, and my mom had German measles while she was pregnant for the first trimester.
Nancy Piersman knows what it's like to grow up in silence and confusion.
I was deprived of language. How I made it through high school and college, whew, I really have no idea.
Like most deaf people, she was born to hearing parents.
So did your parents know sign language?
No. No, to be honest. They never did.
She's not alone in that experience.
It takes just as long to learn French.
Anna Trupiano is an ASL interpreter and deaf education teacher in Kent County.
90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. And of that 90%, roughly, like 80% don't learn to sign. I think a lot of people assume that if you were to have a deaf child, that you would immediately learn sign language. Or you would immediately get them the best services that you can get. And I think a lot of people want to do that, but life is tricky and life is messy.
She says what starts in childhood can lead to lifelong loss.
Now, suddenly you don't have incidental learning opportunities. So you don't have the opportunity to overhear your parents talking about how hot it is outside. You don't get to hear other kids arguing. You are completely isolated.
So why is this happening in Michigan? There is no publicly available data from the state on the number of deaf children in Michigan or the number of deaf education programs. A representative with the State Department of Education said they're working to get those numbers for us, but has not provided them yet.
I wasn't learning, like for example, the sign big or the word enormous. You know, I wouldn't have known the difference. I did not learn that word enormous until I was much older.
Nancy didn't learn American Sign Language, ASL, until she got to college.
Like once I started using ASL, I was like, okay, I fit into the deaf world and that's my identity. And I was having a hard time with language, and so then I started meeting people who also understood the frustrations of being in the deaf world and the frustrations of communication access.
Kent County is one of the few in the state with a comprehensive deaf education program.
How many programs like this exist in the state that you're aware of?
There are several of those ISD-centered programs, but we are the only ones, to my knowledge, that have the ASL immersion option outside of Michigan School for the Deaf, which is ASL immersion the whole way.
For education, you need teachers, and in this case, ASL interpreters. But Michigan, like many other states, has a serious shortage. Now, the certification process is one of the barriers. Michigan has some of the strictest laws in the country for interpreters.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's actually I think it's one of the best things about Michigan is that we have such high standards for our interpreters. The issue just is we don't have a path to help students get to that high expectation.
In the meantime, deaf people wait or go without.
I felt like I had a heart attack.
Nancy works as an advocacy coordinator at Deaf and Hard of Hearing Services. She recalls a time she had to advocate for herself.
I think I need to go to the ER. They pull in a VRI, a video remote interpreter, which is like a screen that they pulled around the corner, and I said, no, I need an in-person interpreter. And so then they argued with me, and I was like, why are you arguing with me? My chest is hurting. I'm having, something is happening, something bad is happening to my body right now. And they kept arguing with me. So then they said, well, if you don't want VRI, then you can go to a different hospital.
Most hospitals in West Michigan have a policy that says they will try to accommodate a patient's request for an in-person interpreter, but there isn't always one available.
You get these bids to go take these jobs, and some of them, are for 5 in the morning appointments for, an MRI, and I'm already booked for 3 other things.
Why is video interpreting problematic?
It's when you have, like I said, a 3D language on a 2D screen, not only is it difficult to understand, you're not getting the full depth perception of the language.
As for what's next, both of these women point to deaf leadership and early access.
Companies that have more DEIA kind of cultural sensitivity training, it's so important to have that.
The goal is to get language birth to 5, that critical window, no matter what language it is.
People with disabilities are getting more involved every year with athletics. The Western Michigan University men's basketball team recently helped introduce new players to the game at the Court of Dreams camp. This was the 4th year the Broncos teamed up with the Beautiful Lives Project, a nonprofit, to host the camp. For one day, around 50 adults and children with varying disabilities worked with the players and the coaches. They did shooting, passing, and defensive skills. The man who created the Beautiful Lives Project is a sports commentator who happens to be blind. He wanted to make sure people like him could play sports that are often unavailable for someone with a disability.
It allows participants the opportunity to experience basketball, most importantly, to create a belief in themselves and a sense of community.
The nonprofit will hold camps in September at Hope College, GVSU, and MSU. Other activities besides sports, like taking the bus, can become exponentially more difficult for someone who loses all or part of their vision. We found there isn't always infrastructure in place to help. Craig Smith has kept almost every book he's ever read.
I keep the books. It's kind of like a little trophy.
But you don't see them out in his apartment.
Tying my shoes is a pain.
He's adjusting to a new way of life.
It feels like, a kindergartner trying to tie their shoes. So once they're tied, they're tied. I don't untie my shoes.
Craig started to lose his vision 5 years ago.
But basically, my body just wouldn't absorb enough of vitamin B12, which is used to make your hemoglobin. And hemoglobin is what carries your oxygen through your blood.
The damage hit the nerves in his hands and feet and behind his eyes. He realized how serious the problem was driving home one night.
By the grace of God, I stopped soon enough because I did not know that there was already a car in front of me at the red light because my eyes just didn't process their red lights, their tail lights.
Craig doesn't drive anymore.
Because a lot of mail is just too small for me to actually read.
He uses a tablet or Google Lens to help him understand what he's reading. Losing his vision has also stolen Craig's spontaneity and slowed his steps.
I'm a little bit nervous to approach random people and just say, I don't know where I am.
A GO bus requires a 24-hour advanced registration. The regular bus is intimidating.
I don't know how to get on the Rapid. I mean, I understand the concept, right? You pay the people money and you get on, but like, where is this taking me? Am I going to the right place? Do I get off here? And then how do I know when to get off?
Even walking outside comes with uncertainty. Crossing the street can be perilous for someone who has low vision or blindness, which is why infrastructure at crosswalks like this is so important. The city engineer's office confirmed there are 244 crosswalks in Grand Rapids. Guess how many have audio signals? 17. A new set of federal standards took effect in January this year, covering infrastructure like ramps and crosswalks. Because of that, the city can't add anything without doing a complete accessibility assessment. The traffic system engineer told me that could turn a $15,000 project to add an audio signal into a $100,000 project that includes new ramps.
Craig overcame his hesitation to ride the bus as he got on for the first time. The next step is getting back to work.
That is definitely something that, that has weighed on me. How am I gonna approach this? When do I tell them that I have a disability? How do I tell them that I have a disability? Do you do it in the interview? Do you wait until after you've been given the job?
He never thought about accessibility before this happened. He hopes other people will.
I would just tell people to look around you and see if everybody can use that building, if everybody can safely access what you're accessing.
Coming up next on Disability Pride, how a woman with a new title is using her crown to create a better future. It has been 35 years since the government passed the Americans with Disabilities Act. That was July 26, 1990. There have been celebrations all month long for that anniversary in West Michigan.
That includes a party at the Kalamazoo Farmers Market last week. The Disability Network of Southwest Michigan offered a free lunch. The agency's new CEO was there to meet with everyone as well. Organizers told us honoring the moment locally reminds everyone accessibility and inclusivity is a battle we continue to fight daily.
To meet one person with a disability, you've met one person with a disability. And so being able to truly understand is to be in community with and for people with disabilities.
There is a lot more work to do beyond the ADA if we want to have a truly inclusive society. For a woman from Kalamazoo, that means showing children with disabilities what they can accomplish, something she wishes she had when she was younger.
Hi, I'm Renita McGuire. I'll be subbing for you today and Wednesday.
Renita McGuire moves through a world that wasn't built for her.
I have a sign-in sheet up here.
But she's making a path.
I teach in studio art, but I got degrees in graphic design, illustration, painting, and drawing.
She was already an accomplished artist and academic. Now she's royalty.
Well, I won Miss Wheelchair Michigan in January, and I've been advocating all over the state.
Renita has become the role model she never had.
Hello, truck.
This little girl is already learning from her.
I beat him. I beat all the people.
Did you?
Confidence looks good on Dahlia Swanson. She was a patient at Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospital, which hosted the Ms. Wheelchair Michigan competition. Dahlia met Renita McGuire at an event and is now officially Little Miss Wheelchair Michigan.
They can work, they can go to school, they can volunteer, they can be advocates, they can do anything.
You can't change perceptions without access. Renita knows how important that is.
I spent a lot of time in other people's houses. I slept in an abandoned warehouse.
She spent her young adult years homeless in Grand Rapids. Then she took a bus to California.
And I got to San Diego, California, and got resources really, really quickly and got off the streets. Started going to college, got a caregiver, got an accessible apartment. And California is really big and eclectic, so I didn't feel like as ostracized for having a disability.
So it would be really good for...
Now she spends her time teaching, creating art, and spinning as a DJ, but not without a lot of planning.
Everything I do, I think I have to think like 10 steps ahead to do it, and I don't think people who don't have disabilities have to be that aware of their surroundings or how they're going to accomplish things, or if they're going to have the help that they need, or if people are going to be jerks when they ask for things.
This is the Taurus.
Dave Bulkowski is the director of Disability Advocates of Kent County. He agrees one of the biggest barriers for people with disabilities is the uncertainty.
Does that space meet my needs, and can I access it? Will there be good seating for me?
His team has consulted on several major developments in Grand Rapids to make sure they are as inclusive as possible. That includes the new amphitheater. Eventually, you may notice something about the family restrooms that wasn't part of the original design.
They only had child-size changing tables. And so that was our recommendation, to at least have 1 or 2 with an adult-sized changing tables.
Disability Advocates has also been working with Experience Grand Rapids to create a list of accessible venues in the city.
Or you have questions, just let me know, I got you.
Changing access helps change perceptions. Changing perceptions helps open doors.
When you advocate for yourself and you get it, you're also getting it for so many other people with disabilities.
We'll leave you with something to consider as Disability Pride Month ends. Access isn't a favor, it's a right. And until every space in West Michigan is accessible to everyone, the work isn't done. Thank you for watching. I'm Teresa Weekly.